Hey, peace and productivity. It's Hakima, also known as Phyllis Jean, Lightworker, Starseed. Not really sure which planet I'm from. I believe I've incarnated many times. So I feel as though I've been a traveling starseed. You know, I love humanity. Not all the time does humanity love me. But it's okay because I'm strengthened by my guardian. I'm strengthened by the divine power. I'm strengthened by Gaia. So, and it shows. Shows in the reflection of my spirit. You can see it on my face. You can hear it in my speech. I enjoy helping humanity. But I'm thinking maybe I might want to be someone's guardian next time around. But let me get back to an update for you all. It's an update. I decided to do this outside. It's a beautiful day here in North Carolina. We're due to have a storm here, so I just thought I'd come outside and get some fresh air because I prefer fresh air, even if it's hot fresh air, over air conditioning. It gets a little stuffy and you kind of bog down a little bit. At least I do. Let me just give you an update. We managed to succeed to get me at the top 15 contestants. So I am now in the top 15. On the top 10 is going to end on August 19th. So between now and August 19th, I still need for you all to support me daily in voting. So that's that piece. I'm doing this impromptu. I hope I'm getting a little bit better each time I do one of these videos. And to be honest with you, I would like to be of support, encouragement, and upliftment to people out there. At work, I'm always, as I'm told, a support and an encouragement to people. I work, of course, in the field of health. And what better place to be to uplift, encourage, and support people. To be specific, I work in healthcare facilities for our aging and sickly individuals. But let me just share a little bit about my awakening experience. To be very honest with you, I feel as though I've been here many times on this earth. I used to tell people at one time I was an empress, a lioness, and a butterfly. And of course, ultimately from the stars, the creator of my soul, and of course the creator of you all's souls. I love saying that, the creator of my soul. So enlightening. But let me tell you, as a child, I was one who always played by herself. I never really felt as though I was a part of a family. My father raised me. I was not raised in a home with a mother. And to be honest with you, I feel as though the two individuals who are considered my mother and father, I believe they hijacked my real mother and father. That they saw an opportunity and wanted to come down here so bad, just like the Nephilims. You know the story of the Nephilims? Well, maybe one day we'll get into that. But I never felt as though my siblings, nor my parents, nor anybody in the family that I was raised in really understood me, or because I was always alone. I don't remember ever having a hug from a mother. I just always remember my being there. Not so much in an affectionate way, but as a dutiful father, as the responsibility of a man whose wife has left, and he chose to raise the children. And so having siblings that are far much older than I am, I played by myself. And it felt very normal. It felt very normal. I never felt as though I was out of place. I just didn't feel a connection. I knew that these were my brothers and sisters, but it never felt like, I don't know, there was just a missing element. And so when different things struck our family, such as tragedy, I lost a couple of siblings to some horrendous acts. One would think that it would have torn me up, or I would be angry or bitter with the world or with mankind, but it was just like, oh, okay, they're not here anymore. Oh yeah, that did happen to them. But then I start thinking about how they were, and I realized they weren't like me, and I wasn't like them, and that there was a distinct difference in us. So as time went on, that was in childhood. Now we'll go to high school. Okay. So now as I get a little bit older, I realize even in high school, nobody really liked me, but I was always very soft on the eye. But it was interesting how I was always ostracized. I was busy being Madonna while everybody else was, doing something else. I was busy being Cyndi Lauper, and you can see what color I am. And everybody else was doing their thing. When it came time for me to be competitive, like try out for different sports, I never got to join anyone's team because I was really good, but there was always something that caused me not to stay on the team. It was the negativity that was coming my way from the other teenagers. It got to a point where they were just really mean to me, bullies. And it's interesting because now that we are all grown and we have this internet and whatnot, you can see how life has been for them. And you can see how life has been for me. And again, there is a distinct difference because the heart of man can be seen on his face and can be heard in his speech and can be seen in his gestures. It's funny how they hit me up for Facebook, but I choose not to be their friends because I feel as though those are people who steal my energy. And as light workers, we have to be very careful of the energies that try to manipulate our energies. Because sometimes when those negative energies or those forces come our way, it can kind of throw us off track, delay us, regression, challenges come. So I've learned to ask my spirit guides, what should I do in this case? because sometimes letting someone in might be the beginning of them learning who they really are. Like, there's been times where I tell people, all because that person and you have an issue doesn't necessarily mean me and that person's going to have an issue, because my talents and my abilities are different from your talents and abilities. My approach to things is in peace and love. Most people's approach to things are in selfish, what are you going to do for me kind of thing. How does it benefit me, you know? But I don't look for benefit. I look for resolve. So then let's go towards 20s. So in my 20s, I started having children. Actually, I had my first baby when I was 18. And it was a wonderful experience. I'm kind of bohemian, so we lived a bohemian lifestyle, dad and child and myself. And then another child came and another child came. So I had all three of my babies by the time I was 24. And now, right as I sit today, by the glory and the mercy of the great divine, I'm 54 years old. And I have 3 grown children and 7 grandchildren. And everyone is doing very well. And I give all the glory and all the praise to the creator of my soul, who has allowed that to unfold before me. My 30s was quite trying. There were times when I didn't want to be here. And it was sad and it was dark and nobody knew. One thing about a light worker, before we even know that's what it is, we go through a lot of trials and some even hardships. And miraculously, we come out of those things. And time goes by and it's just like, did that really happen? So then we get into my 40s. I mean, there's other things in my 30s too, just like there's other things in my 20s. But in my 40s, kids are in colleges, different colleges around Ohio, because that's where I'm originally from, Ohio. Which I feel was my, as they say, 40 years in the desert. And me coming to North Carolina has felt like my great exodus. You hear that? And there's so much nature here too. I love it here. On a side note. And then now I'm in my 50s. And they always say that when your true awakening happens, it's either due to something wonderful or something not so wonderful. And my full-fledged awakening, because I had been coming awake, but it wasn't until last year that I had a full-blown awakening where I could not deny it. There were visible signs all around me. And the visible signs were very painful and disheartening and sad. I came to find my mother. I wanted to be in the arms of my mother because I had never been in the arms of my mother. And I finally was able to be with her. Now, I'm named after her. And I thought, well, gee whiz, if you're named after your mother, she must have really loved you, right? Well, that wasn't so much the case. I found out that my mother is one of the others. Just like I had come to believe in my mind that they hijacked my real parents. they did something to my real parents. And somehow they got here. And so, the story goes, don't complain about who is your mother and who is your father. I don't know if you know that story, but maybe we'll get into that too. Because everything in the Bible, everything in all the ancient mythologies, whether it be Latin, Greek, Peruvian, Chinese, Lithuanian, there's so many mythologies, and they all pretty much have the same storyline. Yeah, that's pretty much real stuff. But they don't tell you that in school. I know I'm babbling, going from one subject to another, and I told you that this is impromptu, and you can't get more real when you're impromptu. But, so it was the tragic ending to knowing who my mother was that caused me to spiral into a sadness that turned into an awakening. And it's quite amazing. And it's confusing at moments, but that's when you gotta talk to your spirit guide. No one teaches you that. They don't teach you these things. They don't want you to know these things. But let me tell you, spirit guides are real. Telepathy is real. You're not going crazy. And just keep being a good vibe. That's all I can say right now. Just continue to be a good vibe. And all that goodness will come back to you. In this life, I have asked the Creator of my soul to allow me to be a philanthropist, giving of my time, and eventually giving of my monies. I look forward to uplifting, encouraging, and supporting humanity in whatever capacity that my guardian, that the Creator of my soul allows me to do it in. And that is why I have asked you all to support me in voting for me in the contest. So, well, again, the top 10 ends Thursday, the 19th at 7 p.m. I need you all to answer the call of duty to go and vote for me at fab40.com. Find my name, Phyllis Jean Berry, and